2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kayfabe or Die. I am the Giz, and joining me, as always, is my partner in crime, Johnny Danger Deadly.
Hello, everybody.
And coming up for you this week, we are going to be delving straight into NXT and AEW as they continue to give us kind of no audience shows. Getting straight into things, NXT this week kicked off with the next stage of their Cruiserweight Classic tournament, or Interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament, I guess, since Jordan Devlin is stuck in Ireland. It does give him an opportunity to have a reason for having a bunch of lads go up against each other the whole time, as opposed to just the fact that they're the only ones in the actual building. But so this week kicked off straight away with Isaiah Swerve Scott taking on El Hijo del Fantasma. There we go. Because I was nearly getting it. And this was fun. We've seen Fantasma now. This is his second match in NXT, and nice solid hits out of him when he's in against anyone so far. They've really done a good job of kind of like talking up and hyping up the tournament in regards, making it seem like it's actually like the keystone, I suppose, to a degree, for the NXT show, which to be fair it is, because you've got like 8 guys that can kind of swap in around. So I think for Scott and for Fantasma, this was
I'm surprised you started off with NXT
each.
and not started off with all the news.
What news?
Curtis Axel got released. Roman Reigns, there appears to be a buttload of heat going on.
I haven't had a chance to actually watch any news. I've been trying to...
Oh, okay. We'll do NXT and I'll get into news before we go into AEW. That might be the quicker way of doing it.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, so Fantasma and Scott giving us an excellent hard-hitting match. End result is that Scott did take the victory.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, because Fantasma won the last. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, this kind of puts because of the way the tournament is set out, it's interesting enough because it's the round robin. It means that it's not just straight victories. So it means that Scott winning this one means that someone like Maverick or someone like Tozawa is still kind of in there with a shot, because it evens things up. Whereas Fantasma would have won his first match and losing his second one.
Yeah,
but from
what I saw on the list, the only person who doesn't have a loss on the record at the minute is Atlas and Tozawa.
Who's only but
they've only had one match.
They've only had Scott and Fantasma were the only ones this is their second match each kind of thing. Up next, we had a promo from Dominik Dijakovic, where basically he's saying fuck the Garganos because he thinks Johnny is being a whingy little bitch and going on about fucking opportunities and all the rest of it. And Dijakovic's notion is, screw you, you have all the opportunities, you've been in all these things, I'm just going to break your face and prove that I should be there instead. Ha. So that built for a match that we're going to be getting.
He's going to get
next
kicked
week.
In the testicles. Yeah,
Dijakovic?
Just don't ask me why. I just feel he's going to get kicked in the testicles.
Maybe. It was an interesting lead-in, though, as the newly christened Poison Pixie, Candice LeRae, came down as accompanied by Johnny Gargano, her husband, who insisted on being
and introductory husband.
Mouthpiece.
Yeah, I'm liking this. They're kind of just swapping roles depending who's wrestling.
It was like he was channeling his inner Jimmy Hart, to be perfectly honest.
He even
Look at her,
even
she's
at
awesome.
the even at the he was literally channeling his inner Jimmy Hart at the end of the match, because he was like literally lying on his belly in the ring, kind of kicking his feet, waiting for her to get out of the ring and everything, and he got the little kiss. He was literally Jimmy Hart, like. It was great. It was really good.
But she's in Candice is in against Casey Catanzaro, who is probably the only female in the entire WWE roster that's actually smaller than Candice LeRae. But then again, that's because Casey is smaller than everyone, because she is less than bite size, she's less than fun size, she's just like pocket size. And she's cute, and it was a good match.
I'm glad to see her back. I was really worried after she went out. Do you remember she kind of left for a while and it looked like she wasn't coming back? There was a back injury, I think.
Yes, and I'm not going to lie, this match, the end of it made me kind of going, oh, her neck.
Yeah, it's not what someone has documentedly had back injuries, not what you want to see happen.
I know she's supposed to be a flexible rubber band ninja girl, but Jesus H, tap dancing, Christ, your vertebrae will eventually
Candice
snap.
says as part of the new attitude change, opened up a new finishing move, which is essentially she looks like
your face.
She essentially ties your legs up on her legs as if she's going to go for a surfboard, and then puts her foot in the back of your head and just stomps your face into the ground while holding your arms.
While holding your just
sore as hell is the best description I could give it, because when I saw her face crack the mat, I was like,
you're just like, whoa.
Not fun.
Needless to say, Candice takes the victory.
What was
there,
the name of it?
Like
the Evil Sisters or something? I think it was something Sisters. I think it's the Evil Sisters is the name of that finisher.
I just call it a head stomp.
Yeah, I'm going by what Marrow literally called out on commentary.
I know, but let's face it, WWE like to give convoluted names for like basic wrestling moves because they think it makes it their trademark finisher, when in actuality people have been doing that stuff since the beginning of fucking time.
True, but I know, let's face it, but we have to call them what they're called.
Yeah, head stomp.
Yeah, I know, but like it's the same way the Falcon Arrow that Damian Priest does is called a broken arrow. It's still just a Falcon Arrow, but we got to call it a broken arrow because that's what they be naming it.
Is a moonsault still a moonsault, or is it a pancake flip?
It depends if he does a pancake. It's whatever they call in commentary. It depends if it gets named their specific move.
No, this is the joke that I'm making about. This is what I'm saying about them being fucking ridiculous. I'm sick to my back teeth of hearing them come up with the most fucking stupid fucking names for the most basic fucking wrestling holds, and that's if they decide to even fucking comment on the actual action that's going on in the ring, instead of talking about 10 different fucking things that have nothing to do with what we're actually seeing on a screen. Fuck you, main roster WWE.
The reason for those names are because it's a lot quicker to go, oh, it's
trademarks.
That, and it's a lot quicker to go, oh, she hit her with the Evil Sisters, then she hit her with the tie-up, double leg, double arm, foot, head stomp.
No, it's not about being easy. It's about trademarks. We can't say anything on WWE can't say anything unless the word is trademarked. I mean, they've gotten it now to the point that I'm surprised they're not trademarking certain like actual parts of the English vocabulary, so that they're the only ones that are allowed to say.
They tried, they failed, and they stopped.
And yet they still insist on coming up with the most fucking ridiculously stupid, convoluted, and annoying names for stuff that has existed since the dawn of fucking time. That is an armbar, not some fucking Joy Division half suplex fucking hammer fucking crazy fun time lock. Armbar. Fucking armbar. Anyway, so yeah, Candice LeRae would take the victory there after stomping Casey Catanzaro's face into the mat with a head stomp.
Then we had Mia Yim.
We actually, just briefly, because I missed this, after the Fantasma match, we had another failed attempt from Lucha Underground to try and kidnap El Hero del Fantasma. So apparently Lucha Underground is making inroads, but they just cannot beat the Phantom, or the son of the Phantom.
Yeah. We're pretty sure it's King Cuerno, just due to the amount of Lucha masks.
I feel it's not, because Quinn Cuerno wouldn't be failing so fucking miserably every time he tries something. Those two boys fail miserably every time.
I'm not saying that the two boys are King Cuerno. I'm saying the two boys work for King Cuerno. This is all a King Cuerno angle, is what I think. Is what I'm saying. Also, they haven't failed every time. They've robbed two guys clean off the fucking street. The only one they haven't got is Phantasm.
You mean the two guys that didn't have a rep coming into it and were being built for NXT, as opposed to Phantasma, who is a big fucking face in the lucha scene.
I'm not trying to do the comparisons. I'm just trying to say that it's so far out of three guys that they've tried to rob, they have a 66% hit rate.
That's like saying out of the three guys that you went up against, you got a 66 win rate because two of them were just jobbers.
No, because this is in a robbing them off the street scenario, not a competitive match where skills are tested. But
still, comparatively, in regards, name recognition and all the rest of it.
I know, it's just you said that they're failing at everything they're doing, and I'm like, they've gone for three, they've got two.
They have repeatedly gone and failed for Phantasma. It's like, if at first you don't succeed, it's not going to work, boys. Either get more lads or just stop.
Yeah, which is why this is where the King Cuerno thing is going to come in, I think, because the two boys can't do it, so the head boy's going to have to come in and do it.
Okay, cool. Anyway, up next we had Damien Priest. I'm looking forward to his match with Keith Lee because he is full sure that he's going to be beating Keith Lee, since Keith Lee only goes up against guys that he knows he can
Yeah.
beat.
And also because he injured him last week. Although I don't know how injuring his larynx is going to... That'll take him out.
Speaking of picking opponents that or speaking of only picking opponents that you know you can beat, Charlotte Flair takes on Mia Yim this week. I don't know if her belt is on the line or not, but she's a Flair, so she's not going to be losing, despite the fact that Mia Yim put up a really,
It was a very
really
competitive
good
match.
But it's just, it was. Yet babyface Flair used every dirty trick she knew and won the match eventually. There was a couple of stuff that was kind of like, oh yeah, you're.
Well,
face.
look, she's not. Look, it's W.
Right.
She's not going to lose it on the TV match.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Sure. She's not going to lose it.
No, I have high hopes for Io. I don't think she's going to get it next week. At the end of the match, Io comes down and challenges Charlotte Flair to match. I have high hopes for Io. I think they're working towards the Io Charlotte Flair angle, but I don't see it happening next week. I don't think it's going to be a TV match. I don't think the match next week.
But the match is next week.
I don't think it's for the belt. I think it's just a match.
They might have it
because it's not on fucking pay-per-view. You have to have your champion have your champ have a match occasionally.
No, I'm fairly sure next week is Flair versus Shirai. Okay, well then
Flair's going to keep it. I don't see it swapping hands off pay-per-view.
I don't see it swapping hands. As long as they need someone like basically, as long as the situation is what it is with Corona and all the rest of it, Charlotte Flair is going to be the champion because she's the face, household name, and now that NXT is on actual TV, they need someone that everyone knows rather than actually letting built-up talent do what they're doing. So yeah, after that we had, oh my God, Matt Riddle and Terry Thatcher.
Fucking Byron Saxton. The minute I heard his name, I was like, this is going to be goddamn awful. I did not like this angle. Did not like this at all.
It's the Newly Bros show where basically they spent 10 minutes doing a quiz which relied on Matt Riddle being a stoner and Terry Thatcher not having a clue and Byron Saxton being a fucking god-awful smiling jackass.
In the defense of Byron Saxton, I'll give him credit where credit's due. He did as good with the material as you could expect. For anyone in Ireland that isn't aware, the Newly Bro show is based on a TV show over in America called The Newlywed Show, where they get two newlyweds and ask them a load of questions about each other to prove that they really love each other. And then married.
Thatcher got all the answers right because Riddle is a stoner and it was just a fluke coincidence.
Yeah, there was one of them where he was like, oh, what was the thing? I don't even have a TV or something like that. And whatever answer Riddle had written.
What's my favorite? I don't watch TV. Yeah, no, all of them Riddle had written down. But the way Thatcher got to the answers was completely wrong. Like, what did Riddle have for breakfast? I haven't got a fucking clue. And even Riddle was like, no idea, bro. I don't remember what I had for breakfast.
This was a very stupid angle, and I have to say, just if you're going to keep doing the stoner angle with Riddle, do what you did last week, where you just send him out high as fuck and just let whatever comes out of his mouth come out. Because last week it was bloody hilarious.
Well, anyway, the point of this was that eventually Eichner and Barthel come down, kick the shit out of Riddle, kick the shit out of Terry Thatcher. And yeah, that's it.
I think there's going to be some dissension there because I know they ended up in a scrap with Thatcher in the ring, but they had no interest in Thatcher until Thatcher got involved. They went straight for Riddle.
They took out Riddle and then spent 5 minutes working over Thatcher. That's the exact opposite of what you're talking about.
No, it's not. They took out Riddle. They were sitting on the ramp. Stop.
Yeah.
They were sitting on the ramp. They took out Riddle. They went down and kept beating Riddle. Thatcher jumped in on top of the two of them, and that's when the two of them started scrapping with Thatcher. Until that point, they
dropped Riddle. Oh.
They didn't go after Thatcher. Thatcher went in on them.
Because when you're taking on two guys, it's best to break one, then break the other. They broke Riddle, then they went over and broke Thatcher.
I think not super quick, but I think he's going to end up in Imperium.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, up next we had Dexter Lumis taking on Shane Thorne as Dexter. I don't know if I'd use the word great.
He came down to the ring scary as fuck. He did everything in the ring scary as fuck. He threw Shane Thorne, who's a very large man, halfway across the bloody ring. It wasn't like a mind-blowing match or anything, but character work-wise, I thought it was quite good.
Yeah, I might have blinked for like 2 minutes and missed most of the match, but I got the point that Dexter Lumis is untouchable, and Shane Thorne is now a jobber.
At the risk of sounding bad, and I hate saying it because I actually do like Shane Thorne as an in-ring worker, but he's been a jobber for quite some time.
He's been a jobber ever since they went, oh, you're a fantastic team. You broke your leg. Well, you're fucked.
Since the tag team went, he's been a jobber. Actually, they were kind of jobbing them out even when they came back as the not whatever the name of that. Thank you, whatever the name of that missile is. I couldn't remember. Thanks. When they came back as the rebranded version of them, they were kind of jobbing out even as a tag team anyway.
The Mighty.
That's it. Thank you. Sorry, yeah. The name went out of my head.
Yep. So, Serial Killer wins over Jobber. Which brings us up to we have this really fucking weird bit backstage where your man Atlas, who beat Drake Maverick last week, is standing outside telling him how much he loves him. So that was strange.
But does tie in with the vibe of the conversation and the end of his promo from last week, where he was quite upset about beating Drake.
It just seemed so fracking staged. To be honest, but
I agree with you there. Yeah, it was very set up.
This was then the lead-in for Tony Nese versus Drake Maverick, which was Drake Maverick getting killed a lot by Tony Nese, and then eventually squeaking out a victory.
Not just squeaking out a victory, proving that it doesn't matter how much of a beating you take. If you manage to grab a guy by his head and drive his face into the mat from a 6 or 7 foot height, you'll probably win.
You only need 3 seconds to win.
And if you
just 3
drop
seconds.
the guy's face onto the mat from 7 feet above, there's a very good chance you might get 3 seconds. I won't lie to you, with all of the events and everything with the firings and everything that went on, I proper popped for the win. I saw him fly through the air and I was like, oh my God. And Tony Nese sold it. Like, Tony Nese landed hard. It looked legit like, oh yeah, that's how you take a guy out. Fuck.
So Maverick gets his first win and goes on about how much he needs this tournament and how he's gonna secure his job or he's gonna leave NXT as the champion. I think that was rather prophetic.
This was good. Tony Nese didn't look like a muppet or anything doing it because, as you said, he did have a lot. He had the majority of the offense during the match.
He was flinging Maverick.
No, it was great. Really good match. Really happy to see Drake get the win, and it was a good way of letting Tony Nese have a loss and not look bad taking it.
Yeah. Before we get into the main event for this week's NXT, like I said, we have announced for next week Flair versus Shirai, which I think is a title match.
I didn't hear a mention which is of the belt. I just heard her going, "I have you next week." That's all she said.
Why else would she come down and challenge her? She's got the Money in the Bank thing. She has a title opportunity. She's coming down to say that she's facing her next week. Okay, cool. We're getting our title match next week.
Yeah, I'm just going to point it out again because it's an argument that you've had several times on the show. Not every time that the champion comes down to the ring. I could be wrong. It's just I didn't hear any mention on commentary, through promo, or what Io or Flair said about it being a title match. I just saw Io going, "I'm getting you next week."
Like I said, it's like, they have no pay-per-views.
Sure.
So it makes sense. They have no pay-per-view, so it makes sense to do...
In this rotation of pay-per-view season anyway, they'd have no fucking pay-per-view before Money in the Bank.
They'd be building it up for whatever the next takeover is.
It's going to be a match. Something's going to happen. Something weird's going to happen, and it's going to continue the storyline.
My point is, because they have no pay-per-views, this is going to be Io Shirai's shot. She's going to lose because they don't want Flair. They want Flair to have the belt so that people will actually watch the show because it's a Flair and they think that means people will watch.
Okie dokie.
Anyway, up next we had Damian Priest taking on Keith Lee for the North American Championship. We briefly heard from Keith Lee as apparently his throat is still messed up despite the fact that he was clearly hit in the chest last week. For anyone like Matt fucking Murdoch would have seen that it was the chest and not the throat, so but anyway, this was fun. This was hard hitting and fun as Damian Priest attempted to wrest the title from Keith Lee.
Badly.
Failed miserably.
It was a good match though. Yeah,
yes,
quite an entertaining. I wouldn't call it the best one the two of them have had together, but it was solid.
Yeah, they did a good bit where Damian Priest gets the baton and goes to stick Keith Lee in the chest. Chest again because he never got him in the throat.
Keith Lee hits him with the double shotgun slaps on the chest, not in the throat, but he meant to hit him in the chest, so that's fine.
Well, Yeah, but he catches the, it's Damien Priest has the baton, he goes in and Priest catches it. And there was an interesting bit where like Lee has the baton and folds up and kind of goes to the ref, just, here, you take this, I'm going to kill him now. Spirit bomb.
My nipples! My goddamn nipples!
It was just the way he turned to the ref and just kind of like, here, you can see the ref kind of, don't, oh, you take this, oh, well, okay. And
anyway, Keith Lee hits him with a double shotgun slap to the chest. Priest falls to his knees. Keith Lee picks him up and hits him with a double powerbomb. This is where I have an issue. Because this wasn't a spirit bomb. This is where I have an issue with the fucking branding. He didn't pick him up on his shoulders. He didn't pick him up like this. He didn't do the fucking whole sit down thing. He hit him with a powerbomb. Then he picked him up for another powerbomb. That last time I checked, that's called a double powerbomb. I don't have a problem with you giving convoluted... No, hang on. I don't have a problem with you giving convoluted names to fucking moves because you're trying to brand everything to a character. But when you just call a move the move for the sake of calling it the move, when the move he's actually done is not the finisher that he normally does, that's when I have a problem. It was a double powerbomb. For it to be a spirit bomb, you need to pick him up into the powerbomb position, you need to lift him up over your head, and you need to throw him through the air and sit down with the powerbomb in a way that looks so painful, it's indescribable. He hit him with a double powerbomb. I don't give a fuck what Maro says. You can call the other thing the two sisters all you want, as long as when...
Now you're welcome to... Now you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about with all the convoluted names for wrestling moves that existed since the dawn of
You're not picking me up right. I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with the but he didn't sit down with the powerbomb. He never left his feet. It's not a spirit bomb. He did not sit down with it. That's what I'm saying.
You're right. It was the last...
Oh, it wasn't a last ride. It was a double fucking powerbomb. For people...
They're all power bombs. That's
I get that,
point.
But I don't care if you called him doing a normal power bomb, the spirit bomb the whole time. I have no problem with it being called a spirit bomb. But the spirit bomb is you pick him up into the last ride and you sit down with it. That is what the spirit bomb is supposed to be. That's what you trademarked, and that's what the branding for it is. You're just calling a double power bomb a fucking spirit bomb. It's not on. Oh, sorry.
I'm waiting for them to come up with like the last pony ride for a Russian next week.
Go back to Candice LeRae for a minute. If you want to call the leg tie up double arm head stomp the evil sisters or whatever you want to call it, I'm fine with that. But if she just kicks a girl in the face, don't call it the evil sisters. That's not the fucking move.
All she did was basically the reverse of what Daniel Bryan does.
I'm not disputing that. But if that's what you want to brand it that, I don't have a problem. But if she doesn't do that move and she ends up kicking a girl in the face and finishes her with that finisher, that doesn't make it the evil sisters. It's a kick in the fucking face. That's what.
Welcome to my thought process on 90% of what passes for commentary, especially on main roster, and that's if they even bother to pay attention to what's actually happening in the ring, as opposed to talking about 10 different things that are happening, probably not even in the wrestling industry at this stage. But yeah, that pretty much covers NXT for this week. Like I said, next week we're going to have Flair versus Shirai, may or may not be for a title. Dijakovic versus Gargano, which is a grudge match, and Dream versus Cole, which will definitely 100% actually be for a title.
Yes.
Because they don't have pay-per-views on anymore. So, yeah. So that should be interesting. It'd be nice if they do a single match, but I feel that the rest of Undisputed is going to come down and it's just going to be a botch. Well, not a botch fest, but a fucking running fest. And it'll be, I don't think Dream is getting any belt.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll start moving into music.
Yeah, to bring us in to the end of this segment, we figured we'd go with Candice LeRae's new theme song, The Poison Pixie, because it was cool and it was fun.
The memes that I have up over the tunes, by the way, for anyone watching the videos, aren't as on brand as normal because I'm running out of NXT memes that I can find, but it's a funny meme regardless. Anyway, music?
Muzak. actual.
And we're back.
Sorry, I wasn't sure because, that was the theme song for Candice LeRae, her new Poison Pixie theme. Sorry, during the break, I was discussing how WWE doesn't actually call any moves of matches unless they've trademarked them. And the reason that they spend 10 minutes talking about everything except what's going on in the sun is because they're not allowed to actually say simple, actual wrestling, actual
And I was
moves
yet again
anymore.
reiterating that if you're going to trademark them, don't just name random other moves the same bloody name, because that's what they used as a finishing move that day.
It's all fucking
it actually put me off the Keith Lee match at the end of it, that I was like, it's not a fucking spirit bomb.
At least they didn't hit him in the throat / chest.
That wrecked my fucking head last week as well.
Because there was two of them, and every time they cut to it, it's clearly hitting him in the chest. Oh my God, he hit him in the throat. No, he didn't. There's at least a half a fucking foot distance between that huge pectoral and his fucking throat.
Yeah, no, that don't get me wrong, that completely wrecked my head as well, but it was just the oh God, I was just like, that's not a spirit bomb. You know. Anyway, on to AEW, where people have names that they actually use the moves with.
Yeah, AEW started off this week with a bit of a promo building up Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes for their TNT TV title tournament match. Oh, that's a lot of T's.
Have you noticed the way they brand all of those things? Everything's like everything's the same letter. I like that though. It's like Stan Lee with the Peter Parkers and the all of that kind of thing.
Double alliteration. That was admittedly laziness on their part. What do we call them? I don't know, but I want to be able to remember it easy enough.
Just like, if you take into account how big comic book nerds a lot of the executive vice presidents of AEW are, it just makes a lot of sense that they'd be like, okay, everything needs to start with the same letter.
Anyway, AEW kicked off with Darby versus Cody. This match was great fun.
Mm-hmm.
Cody doing a couple of heel things, like moving out of the way so that his wife could take a spear. That was great.
I don't know if that was actually intentional.
Jericho had a point. That wasn't just stepping out of the way. He stepped and he moved him on, knowing full well that his wife was there.
Did he know Brandy was right behind him, though? That's the thing. Like, don't get me...
He was looking at her.
Well, look, I'm neither going to defend nor...
He was talking to her for a second, turned around, saw Darby running at him, didn't just sidestepped and pushed Darby on into his own wife.
If you watch Ring of Honor or any of that kind of thing as well, there's a long trending history, and it's why they're probably such a good power couple together, of Brandy has no problem taking the hit occasionally if there's a belt on the line.
I'm just saying the way they did that one was less Cody getting out of the way and more Cody doing his fucking El Matador impersonation, as apparently Brandy was the red flag.
I can't disagree with you on that. So I'm not going to.
This was great fun. This kind of match shows exactly why Darby Allin is up there as the top as soon as he came into AEW. Things like his match against Jericho, his draw against Cody, things like this. This was a great match with the two guys kind of using each other's moves on occasion. Cody went for a coffin drop, and I think Darby went for Crossroads at one point.
He did.
But just Darby at the end of the match, Darby goes for a coffin drop, and Cody just kind of rolls with it, I guess, and kind of uses the momentum and rolls up Darby and gets the 3 count. And this was great. And once again, Chris Jericho and Tony Schiavone on commentary made this fucking awesome. Because
Jericho's commentary all week is just goddamn amazing.
He's brilliant. He's awesome. It's great fun.
I actually hope that that's what he, like, when he does retire, I hope that that's what he does. He takes up the heel commentator role somewhere, because he's such a good heel commentator. It's great.
Yeah, he's right up there with Jesse Ventura and Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
And
I'm not even going to say JR because not JR. I'm not even going to say the King, because the King just...
JR's not a heel.
I meant King. King spoke nonsensical bollocks most of the time when he's on there, whereas Jericho manages to berate but yet talk up people all at the same time.
Like I said,
Bobby Heenan and Jesse Ventura, perfect
example.
Gorilla, all of those kind of guys.
Yeah, wasn't a heel, but I get your point. Next up, we had part 2 of the Scorpio Sky story, I guess, whereby he is after joining up with SCU, and he explains how Frankie Kazarian and Chris Daniels, they were looking for a third person. He came along, and it wasn't just him being a third wheel, but it allowed him to kind of make his own mark and gave him a stage to be himself. And yeah, this was good. This is bits like this, giving a bit of background info, especially for people that maybe aren't as familiar with some of these guys in regards their independent career and how long they've been on the scene, some of the work that they've done. These things, they're quick, they're snappy, they give you a quick bit of fucking history on a character.
And it gets
really
the crowd
really
invested in a character as well. And it's a good way of filling a little bit of TV time. Do you know what I mean? And it wasn't overly long, it wasn't overly boring, but it's a really effective way of getting people behind someone, because you have a bit of the tale behind the man that led them to there, you know?
Good. So, this led into the latest game of one-man shot put as Wardlow threw some poor bastard named Musa around the place for a while. Yeah, poor Musa got in like 2 moves worth of offense because Wardlow looked at someone else for a second, turned back, and then I think kind of enjoyed the notion of being hit.
Oh, this doesn't happen often.
You do that again. Do that again, little man. Whack. I'm going to kill you now.
I didn't think it was actually possible to have a more painful version of that top rope pull down knee thing that he does. He hit him even harder than the guy last week.
This week. That's because I think last week he let momentum do the work. This week he actually fully had him by the head and just went, your face, my knee, and brought it down and smashed him.
He murdered that guy this week.
Then, of course, there was the usual bit of getting ready for takeoff as he made a person fly through the air. Admittedly, didn't get quite the distance he got last week, but even still, it was still an F20.
Yeah.
He flipped. He flipped.
It's
he didn't.
It's something to watch.
Safe to say, Wardlow took the victory in this one. We had an injury update for MJF after his ridiculous, after suffering one of the most strenuous and painful gambling injuries in the history of doing
repetitive wrist strain disorder.
Apparently, MJF's nail is now, according to doctors, not just healed, it is overhealed. He has now got the strongest fingernail in the world.
But that's MJF. That's how the way the guy works. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason he's called the salt of the earth.
However, disaster struck as in prepping to make sure that he looked his best for TV, he nicked himself shaving, which requires the biggest, massive fucking neck brace in the history of neck braces.
Look, as we've established from watching NXT and watching WWE and watching other things for years, neck injuries are nothing to be trifled with, and you have to take them seriously. And I'm actually appreciate seeing a wrestler taking such good care of their health in relation to something like this. You don't want to... That little nick can get a lot bigger with the wrong bit of tension. The nick can end up causing some muscle damage. MJF's doing the right thing. And neck brace, it's a good idea, to be blatantly honest. Just better safe than sorry.
Well,
more props to you, MJF.
Well, going from a hypochondriac who's like trying to take care of himself so much more than necessary, we move on to 4 men who couldn't give a flying fuck about each other or themselves as Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian take on the best friends in a god's damned no-holds-barred match. What the fuck is Jimmy Havoc made of? That mad bastard. No, actually, the rest, all of them.
I actually got so bad during the match at one stage that it just looked like they were like, do you know what? I'm bored of putting chairs flat on the ground.
Orange Cassidy got knocked clean out by something fucking Sabu would have been proud of. One chair got used as an actual swinging weapon, and all of the rest of them, I can't remember. I don't think any chairs were even closed for any of the moves. Everything was open. Everything was on its side. Nothing was flat. And that really awkward fracking angles.
Was God.
Chucky T. Chucky T had his spine put onto 2 chairs that are on their side, angled up.
It was this. Needless to say, as you can tell by our sheer appalled appellation at the.
Awesomeness. This was
we were appalled at what happened. Appalled in a good way, as in it's just your spines, lads. Jesus Christ!
There was a chair sticking up at the single most awkward angle I've ever seen a chair sticking up. The head down, the legs up in the air. What did Chucky T do? Fucking power slammed Jimmy Havoc onto the legs. Just like cream, like just the chair was crumpled and it was legs. It was legs first.
Everything was put at such awkward angles throughout the match that I'm actually surprised a chair leg didn't end up in someone's orifice somewhere or something, because it was literally like how a chair didn't end up someone's asshole. I literally don't know.
They got like this little step ladder thing, probably like 5 foot of a ladder, not for climbing, just for slapping you with. It got set up in the corner and just people were getting fucking lashed off it.
Needless to say, medical issues aside, this was a bloody cracker of a match, as you can tell by myself and Giz's reactions.
Yeah. Penelope Cruz got involved. Orange Cassidy, once she regained consciousness, got involved.
Name? Penelope.
But surprisingly enough, the best friends would manage to take the victory against Jimmy fracking Havoc and Kip Sabian in what was a really good hardcore match. There wasn't any blood, but by the gods, those hits. Fucking hell, those hits.
This is the thing, and maybe someone should have a chat with the Rhodes family. You don't always need blood for it to look violent. Sometimes you can have violence without blood. And that was that.
Yeah, it's just... next up, as promised by Le Champion, we had another edition of The Bubbly Bunch. Where apparently this week they decide that rather than quibbling and arguing over who
should I explain this, because I actually am aware of the TikToks.
Well, I was going to say they decided to have a Manitoba Melee. I didn't know it had anything to do with any challenge. I just thought it was really fun.
A load of professional stuntmen a week or two ago on TikTok all TikToked each other, and they did essentially this, but it was really cool, like backflips, kicks, the whole 9 yards. But it went on for like 5 minutes. There was just a string of really cool. But essentially, it's an action movie TikTok montage that you do between a load of people, where you go and you take a hit, you throw a hit to the camera, next guy takes a hit. But some very entertaining.
More than wrestlers
appeared in this. For anybody who's a friend who likes a big fan of the greeny gishy, we had Jay and Silent Bob in there. If you're a big fan of green in general, but not the weed, the Hulk was there. Lou Ferrigno
was there with a goddamn fucking taser, because you don't want to piss him off.
No, sir, you do not. Vicky Guerrero.
Her reaction was brilliant.
That was crazy. She just laughing her ass.
Laughing at first. It's like, is that the best you can hit, you fucking bitch? Which, from Vicky Guerrero, you were kind of going, you know what? I accept that from Vicky Guerrero.
My fiance, who does like wrestling but wouldn't be the nerds that we are, who is, say, aware of Eddie Guerrero, not aware of the fact that Vicky Guerrero was his wife, was like, that very end, she's like, that woman's fucking crazy. I was like, that's Vicky Guerrero. That woman's fucking crazy. You don't know. You don't know. I was having like the Nan conversations. You weren't there. You don't even know.
You don't know, man. You don't know. So the Bubbly Bunch, proving as entertaining as always.
Really good.
We had a couple of promos back to back here.
I genuinely think that Bubbly Bunch thing is going to lead to the seeds of Sammy and Jericho breaking up, because you see at the end of it where they're like, look, man, I know you did a really good job on the flim flam and everything, but Jericho really won. Chris did a way better job. That's how
they started. Anyway, like I said, we had a couple of promos back to back. Next up, we had Britt Baker doing another one of her role model promos, where this time she had makeup artist Rebel, whose name she can't get right because she keeps calling her Revy. Rebel attempted to be honest about stuff, and then Britt pulled her aside and informed her that you have to call her Britt Baker DDM, and you got to say some other stuff to talk her up.
From a filming cinematic perspective, this was great. It was done kind of in the style of Parks and Recreation or The Office or something like that. So it's like you see the stuff happening, and then there's a takeaway off interview with the other person, and you can see Britt Baker kind of floating around in the background, making sure that you weren't saying everything really good. Goddamn hilarious. It was really good. And it really sells over the Britt Baker, I'm fucking crazy kind of vibe.
I'm an egomaniac.
This is how role models should be.
Plus her makeup, plus her makeup artist was cute as well, which is always good.
I loved how she couldn't get the name right, and she even, when she turns to walk away, because at one stage Britt Baker calls her, she's like, can I talk to you privately in my office for a second? She's like, yeah, okay. And she goes to walk away. Her name's written on the back of her fucking jacket. Dude, it's great. It's so good. This was really good. Really good. Do you hear that, NXT? This is how you do funny comedy segments. This was really good.
So after that, we had Taz analyzing Lance Archer's death-like finishing move where he picks you up in a reverse razor's edge and plants you on your face.
Essentially,
after
Taz's
dropping you from 9 or 10 feet.
after seeing the very in-depth analysis of Kenny Omega last week, this was less in-depth and more on point, which is like he grabs you, he flips up and he picks you, and then you're going to hit the ground, and you're going to die, basically.
Actually, sorry, just briefly getting back to the Havoc Sabian versus Best Friends match, just because it's kind of relevant. Just when you mentioned Kenny Omega, there was a lot of very innovative tag team moves, and I thought one of the best fucking moves in the entire fucking night was Kip Sapien basically V-triggering one of the lads into Jimmy Havoc's outstretched finger poke of doom. That was brilliant.
My fiance said last night, she was like, if you and Giz were ever to have a finisher, that's what I could see it being. It's just you kneeing someone into the back of the head while Giz stands in front of them with his fingers pointed out. Fuck! Yeah, no, it looked legit fucking sore, man. It was great. It was really good. It was really good, actually.
Next up, we had Sean Spears taking on, I guess, debuting Baron Black, or maybe he's been in a few dark matches. I don't know.
He's been on,
but
AEW Dark.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I need to go back and kind of start rewatching them. But yeah, this was a decent outing from Baron Black, but unfortunately not quite enough to beat Sean Spears. No. He would take the victory handily enough.
Sean Spears was really good in this match. Actually, like the character work out of him and stuff was really good.
Yeah. Next up, we had Death. We had two. As Marco Stunt, little Marco Stunt, after kind of proclaiming that, look, because of the situation, he doesn't have his Jurassic Express buddies, so he's still got to turn up. He's still got to do a job. By the gods, he's going to attempt to do that job. He failed because he's in against Mr. Brody Lee.
If his job was literally to just show up in the ring and not like just be there, he accomplished his mission.
Let's be fair. Marco Stunt showed up in the ring and then put up as much of a fight as he could.
This is why I love Marco Stunt. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like a little Jack Russell. Do you know the way they don't?
A little engine that could.
He is. Well, he couldn't today, but he's like a little Jack Russell. Do you know where it's like, I don't give a fuck how big you are. You know,
It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog.
Unfortunately, it was somewhat the size of the dog in the fight in this, because the other dog that he was fighting was a fucking Rottweiler.
Yeah. Need to say, Mr. Brody Lee would take the victory in this rather impressively. Finally, before moving into the main event, we had a promo from Jon Moxley, who, due to the current situation, is stuck at home, and that's fine, but he's still going to try and entertain, and he's thankful for a number of things. He's thankful for his wife, who is the only person on the planet that could put up with actually being confined in a house with him for any length of time.
I feel that may have also been a slightly unofficial on-air apology for landing her in so much shit with WWE. They were doing backstage, but you know the way they're all in quarantine, so they were doing it from...
Hang on.
She got serious heat over him showing up in the backstage thing, because essentially the AEW champion showed up in a WWE product.
You're right. WWE should have turned around and went, "Look how awesome we are. We even have AEW champions living on." But no, it's like,
as I said to Pam, I was like, the manly and, in my opinion, honourable way to have handled that would have been give out to Renee, because you know she's the employee, and then go, "Can you do me a favour?" Like Vince rings her up and gives out and goes, "Can you do me a favour? Will you put John on the line, please?" And he puts John on the line, and then he goes, "Your missus, after getting ear bollocking out of it because you decided to take the piss, you walked away. We offered you more money. You decided not to stay. We let it all go. That's fine. You berated us on air on Jericho's show. You said everything about us, and you think you can just walk out in the TV show and just laughy smiley? That's not fair. If you want to be on WWE TV, come back and re-sign with us. Otherwise, let your missus do her fucking job. You're after getting her bollocking out of it for no reason."
Fair enough.
But just...
Personally, I think that things get like that get blown out of proportion when you're dealing with the situation that you're dealing with.
Personally, he should have just taken it as a laugh and looked at Moxley trying to kind of extend an olive branch of, look, everything can be just copacetic and everyone can get along. But
they could have gone the opposite way. Anyway, like I said, getting back to it, Moxley is thankful for all these different things, most especially his wife for putting up with him. He's also thankful for the chance that he is going to be loading up in his truck with his dogs, with his booze, with his Metallica CDs, and he's heading to AEW next week, where he's going to be taking on... Shite, who's he taking on again? I can't remember.
I can't, it's gone out of my head, sorry. Someone.
Yeah. He's going to be in action. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Valuable lesson learned is if I ever get invited on a road trip with John Moxley, I'm definitely fucking going. Road beers and Metallica, I'm fucking in. Hell yes.
Yeah. Bet you he doesn't have that shitty Death Magnetic.
No, he's got taste. He's got taste.
Yeah,
only
kill them all.
Yeah, only before. Oh shit! What was the only before? Not Monsters Inc. What was the fucking one? What was that really bad album? Saint Anger. Yeah.
Well, Saint Anger has one or two
redeemable tunes,
tracks,
but yeah, as a majority, it was a bad album.
Death Magnetic was the one that I refused to even listen to.
That's
how bad that is. No, the latest one was actually decent again.
Cool. Yeah.
Hard work to self-destruct. Yeah, it's like, okay, they're actually back on form again. That's how Undertaker got his new theme song, Now That We're Dead. That was taken from that album.
It was really good. I'm still yet to do my edit of that where I take that song out and play the Sons of Anarchy theme tune underneath it.
Anyway, last match of the evening is another one of the tournament matches as Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk, takes on Dustin Rhodes, the natural. As as Brandy Rhodes comes out with Dustin somehow with a complete costume change. It's like, why? Why?
Because she's Brandy Rhodes. Brandy Rhodes' costume changes the whole time.
Okay, anyway.
I have to say, in relation to this match, because there was something I put out on the show last week where I was like, it's one thing having Lance Archer in looking huge against all of these littler dudes. I wonder how big he's going to look against Dustin Rhodes. It turns out quite fucking big. Because Dustin, and
still fucking
fair fucks
big,
to Jericho even bringing that up in commentary. He's like, how big is that guy? Because he's like, Dustin Rhodes is like 6'5" or something, and he looks really small.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes is not a small person by any shape or form.
Some interesting lines out of Jericho, which I wonder could they come to fruition, where he's like, I need to call this Jake the Snake guy and have a chat. I think we should do some business with Lance Archer.
We need Lance in the Elite, or else we're going to have to cut him off at the knees. We can't just have this monster.
He didn't even try
around.
to get him in the Elite. He was like, I wonder if there's some sort of an accord we can come up with between. We need something. He needs to be on the Elite side, or else we're going to have to take him out because this guy is too mean to be left loose. Yeah, this was a really good match. And if you want to put Lance Archer over as a terrifying force that can't be stopped, this is how you do it.
This is the match.
This is how you do it.
Dustin ends up bleeding during the match because it's not a Dustin Rhodes match unless there's a bit of blood.
It was how quick he was bleeding was the unexpected thing.
Yeah, I don't think he expected it either. It was a chair shot or something, wasn't it?
It's hard to tell with the Rhodeses, are they expecting it or not? Do you know what I mean?
Plus, I actually think, and like this is something that I heard somebody else commenting about before. After a while, after taking like hits repeatedly in a certain area, it's easier to get split open.
Once you start to develop up a lot of keloid scarring and keloid scarring and hardened scar tissue, the hardened scar tissue opens up a lot easier.
Yeah. So, and I feel that maybe Dustin's kind of gotten to that stage whereby, and it's to his benefit, you don't need to hit me that hard, lads. It just needs to be a little bit right there. Yeah. That spot right there. That's the good one.
Exact same as Ric Flair. If you caught Ric Flair anywhere in that bit of hairline there, you got a gusher. No problem.
Yeah. And of course, accentuated by the fact that he's blonde.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But this was a good match. It was a good back and forth, to be fair. Dustin Rhodes showing why he is in the fucking industry and why he's so fucking good at the top of the game. The real clincher came when Dustin was so bust up that his tag team partner... Frack, what's the name of his tag team partner? The guy with the apple.
Miller. No,
no, it's not TJ Miller.
No. QT Marshall. There you go. Marshall. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. I couldn't get the right letter prefixes.
Yeah, Marshall.
Sorry.
Yeah, Marshall comes down and he's like, it's like he's attempting to throw in the towel. He's thinking about it. Then Cody comes down, he wrestles the towel out of his hands, and then that leads to a distraction. And then Archer ends up just killing Dustin and slamming him down and just grabbing onto him by the back of the head and just repeatedly cracking his head off the mat and then eventually putting a knee on his throat and getting 3 counts.
I would imagine because it would be very
Archer.
hard to safely do his standard finisher on Dustin like that.
Yeah. So it's going to be Archer versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT TV title, which I think it's happening
Which
next week.
brings also to point of how prophetic Jake has been, because Jake has just been talking about how it's going to be Lance and Cody.
Caesar, hail Caesar. It's only a matter of time.
Caesar
You can't
in the
outrun us for
finals.
long.
Yeah, Caesar. Good stuff. Really good stuff.
So, yeah, that was pretty much it for AEW this week. What do we have for time? Because
we're on about 52 minutes, so we have a bit of time.
Okay, do you want to get into those news bits that I have no idea about?
Evidently, so as everyone knows, or if they didn't know, you might have noticed that Roman Reigns is not being mentioned on WWTV at all since he had to go into quarantine. Very validly, because he has a already messed up immune system from having leukemia twice. And there's some speculation going on as to if there's actually beef going on about it due to the fact that no mention at all. Like, yeah, because I got the fact, don't mention him during WrestleMania because he was supposed to be at WrestleMania. Now we're just swapping him in for Braun, so just do not fucking mention him. Better safe than sorry. But he hasn't been mentioned since.
He did the right thing.
I'm not disagreeing with what he did.
He did the right. But
the reason
because he did the right thing, because he did the right thing outside of the carefully scripted plan that Vince has lined up.
It's interesting because Vince came out initially when all of this came down and went, if people aren't comfortable working, they don't have to come to work. I know he had to say that, but it's becoming quite prominent that it's not very much that way.
But like, I mean, anyone that thinks that he was saying that because he actually meant it is fucking deluding themselves. All they have to do is, if he actually gave a shit about his talent, if he actually really cared about that, then why the fuck did he fire 40% of his roster just so that he could keep a profit margin? He doesn't give a fuck. Straight up, he doesn't give a fuck.
There's serious problems in the profit margin as well, and he's getting taken to court due to the fact that in the investors' call last Thursday, he lied
to the XFL.
Not just lied about the XFL. He's getting sued by the guys from the XFL for just quashing everything and cancelling contracts. He's getting sued by the WWE investors now because in the investment call on Thursday, it was made out as if everything in Saudi was perfectly hunky-dory and okay. And it turns out that Saudi have not been keeping up with their side of the TV deals at all. It doesn't even look like the TV deals might even be continuing. They're not 100% sure. It may not be recontinuing until 2021. And one of the major reasons that he was like, oh, we're going to be financially okay and everything like that is because, we have the Saudi deals in the bag. You don't need to go moving your stock or anything like that. Nothing to worry about. Until all of a sudden you see Kevin Dunn shift 1.5 million worth of his stock before the investors call. I'm
sorry,
Kevin Dunn shifted 1.5 million worth of his stock shares.
Oh, that's a man that's just gone. Nope.
As in, not just are they getting sued, they could be getting sued for insider trading.
Yeah, because like Dunn is the producer for most of those shows, so he would have fucking seen. Is it really? This is why. I'm not going to lie, right? This is why the whole fucking stock trade thing. There are certain things I get. There's an awful lot of it that I don't get. Now, I understand the idea of insider trading. You have insider information. If you are someone that's in the company and you're smart enough to see something coming, is that really insider trading, or is that just an educated guess based on experience?
They're not suing over insider trading just because of the Dunn thing. I think several other people might have started. WWE people may have shifted stock as well, just not as large a quantity.
Once again, perhaps it's just my lack of understanding insofar as how stock markets work. But if you're in a business as long as they are, then is it really insider trading? If you're just smart enough to see the way things are going,
it's insider trading because you know that the deal isn't happening and it's fucked up, and you're after knowingly selling stocks to people who are unaware of that knowledge. And you only know that knowledge because you work for the company and are mates with the guy who runs it. No, there's no or. That's literally what it is. That's what insider trade.
No, actually,
but that's what insider trade.
No, hang on a second. There is an or, and that's my point. The or is you don't know anything for certain, but you have enough experience and knowledge in the industry to make an educated guess based on how you think.
And that's why there's a court case about it, because they need to establish, is it guys just knowing, is it guys knowing, or is it guys just having an inkling because they're good at business and they know what the story is? Now would be a good time to do your minute round off.
Okay, anyway, with all that in mind, that pretty much brings us to the end of this week's show. As always, I'd like to thank everybody for listening in. My thanks especially to Limerick City Community Radio, your city, your station, your voice, your willingness to let us record these shows and send them in and put them on the air. Haha. As always, for anyone that wants more of myself and Johnny's ramblings, you can catch us on the Gorecast, where this week we are going to be delving into some screeners that we got sent in. That show going to be going out Sunday night at around 11:30-ish. You can also catch us on American Horrors when that show goes out about 2:30 GMT-ish in the morning Sunday night, where this week we are going to be covering the new Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. We do a kind of a retrospect on the Mortal Kombat franchise and then the film itself. But we shall, of course, be back same wrestling time, same wrestling station next week. But for me, I'm the Giz saying bye-bye. Johnny, any last
tune we're going to move into is because we don't usually get to cross over our horror and our love of wrestling in the show. And Chris Jericho was on the new season, the opening episode of Joe Bob Briggs at the drive-thru. And he did a very impromptu tune that I will warn you, the lyrics don't make sense, but it will be stuck in your head for the next couple of days. So from myself and the Giz, Bloodsucking Freak by Chris Jericho. And we'll catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
I'm a blood-sucking freak when I'm out in the streets. When I'm between the sheets, I'll make you weak in the knees and then I'll feed you some head cheese. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. My rigatoni. It's very unique. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. A blood-sucking freak. I'm a blood-sucking freak with an air of mystique. Don't sweat the technique. You're gonna love my physique, and then I'll feed you more head cheese. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. My rigatoni. It's very unique. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. A blood-sucking freak. If you would be my boo, then I will be a freaky Sadu. Oh yeah. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. My rigatoni. It's very unique. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. A blood-sucking freak. What do they call me? Blood-sucking freak. My rigatoni. It's very unique. What do they call me? A blood-sucking freak. A blood-sucking freak.
All right, cut that. Beautiful.